Joining us this morning is Dr. Ted Spears, the Sylacauga Marble Festival and the committee, and it's the 8th Marble Fest here in Sylacauga. And Dr. Ted, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jimmy. We appreciate the work that you do with giving us good publicity and carrying on all the information. So thank you for what you do and the manner in which you do it.
8 years ago we started this. I remember on the corner there.
Yeah, and it was, if you could throw a piece of marble now and hit the place we used to be. But it's really been wonderful, and we've been able to move across the street with the help of the city and the recreation department, and the tents and all really gives it a carnival atmosphere. And the people who visit us just say, "Oh, y'all have just done a wonderful job," and this is the open air and the nearness to Bluebell ice cream and all of the other amenities that we have in Sylacauga. It just enables us to put a good face on the entire Marble Festival.
Talk about, and let's capsule week one of the Marble Festival.
Probably the most important thing off the bat is the fact that we have a fantastic sculptor, Giovanni Balderi. Giovanni's been here before, but this man, since he was here in Sylacauga, he spent months in Australia, he's been in India, he's been in Vietnam, he's been in China, just all over the world, and of course the European contingent in Germany and Switzerland, places like that. To have someone like that, it's a drawing card for all the sculptors that we have, but it's enthusiasm on the part of the resident sculptors, the people in the U.S., to be able to work with and talk with, and while they may not be talking strictly sculpting, but to understand what's happening in the world and to know that they've got it. And it's been so smooth and so wonderful. Everyone's in a good mood. They're laughing. They're swapping ideas. We've had a very smooth opening, and I'm just delighted with it. But after 8 years, I think that's probably a normal thing, and I hope it is better next year. And we intend to make it better. But right now, I'm just very satisfied with the progress that we've made. And we're getting attention from all over the U.S. now that we didn't get before. I know that addressing the sculptors yesterday, and Giovanni did one of the best lectures that I've ever heard, and had the video to go with it on all his work, so that people realize he's not just another pretty face. Mm-hmm. He's a true sculptor who's been everywhere and done everything, and he has the results of it. And it was just wonderful. But in that, we had the Chamber of Commerce, Mike Landers, come in and speak to him briefly and welcome him to Sylacauga. And he related the story that he was at the state convention, and he was passing out brochures, and over half of the chamber directors already knew about the Marble Festival.
Wow.
So, you wonder sometimes, is your message getting out? Are you really making contacts? And, that was the most exciting thing that I heard out of that. We're pleased to do that. And this year, for the first time, we have a member of the staff of the State Arts Council, Elliot Knight, who's a young man in charge of outdoor art, is sculpting with us. Mm-hmm. And his wife, who is the assistant director of the Montgomery Museum of Modern Art, is going to be with us this weekend. So we're drawing people that they knew about us, and they encouraged us, but now they're participating. Mm-hmm. And that makes all the difference in the world when you can get people like that to participate, because that really sends word out over the world that, hey, that's good stuff going on in Sylacauga.
Dr. Ted Spears, our guest this morning. The 8th Annual Marble Festival continues in Sylacauga through next week. And is it not true that this is a continual educational process of, some of us still really don't know what we have right here in Sylacauga, Alabama, that is known around the world?
That was brought home to me in a very poignant way a few years back. We invited the district architects to come to Sylacauga, and we had a program, and Jim DeLoach of Alabama Import Stones did a program for us. And I had architects to tell me that they did not know that Sylacauga had this vast deposit of marble. And they said, and some of them grew up in Birmingham and went to school at Auburn, came through here on the way to school for 4 years and didn't know about it. But now we have pretty well buried that problem, and the problem now is how can we let more people know, and we're working on that daily. So, but you're right, people don't know, and the tours that we take to the quarries,
Right.
Emrys, Umya, and Sylacauga Marble Quarry, they're so revealing to people who grew up here in Sylacauga. So, you know, if we're going to be known as a marble city, we've got to get more marbles in the game. And so we're just thrilled with the way it's worked out on that score. And the educational component, we probably had more success this year than we've ever had. And the Marble Maniacs are responsible for that. You know, Ginger Clifton and Joan and Glenda and Willadine.
They just don't ever slow down, do they?
They don't. They do a marvelous job. But they did a poster contest, and we went into the schools. They went into the schools and talked to the teachers, talked to the principals about having the children do something related to marble and the posters. And we were amazed at how marvelous those children did. We gave out prizes, but the enthusiasm is in the schools. And in addition to this contest, they had already established a curriculum for marble in the elementary school. They had a video presentation. They had developed a syllabus and had materials and supplies that they put into each of the schools in the area. So the educational component on the elementary and junior high school level has just been wonderful, thanks to the Marble Maniacs. And we're still having the scavenger hunt. We changed the scavenger hunt. Instead of letting them go out and look for things, we're letting them recommend, go and find unique and different marble in different places, and we're going to give awards in that manner. And I've had numerous calls, people want some inside information, but I don't have any. But it's really been just an adjustment that we're making, and they're already working on next year already.
You mentioned earlier a name, Jim DeLoach, and the quarries. They're such a huge component and a part of our success in the area.
Well, if you look at it realistically in terms of money, that 4 out of the last 5 industries that have moved into Sylacauga came because of marble. It's a marble component, and you look at Emrys as one of the most calcium carbonate operators of quarries in the world. Umya is right behind them. And it's just thousands of things that, like the top of this desk has got marble components in it, and the sluice that we send all over the world, it's in medicine, it's in fertilizer. But I remind everybody that people did not have indigestion if they worked at the quarry, because Alka-Seltzer and Tums and stuff like that is about 98% marble. And we are really making great strides. There's just probably 3,000 or 4,000 different products that are composed of a great deal of marble, and it's environmentally safe. We don't have a record of any, you know, like in the coal industry, you had black lung disease, in the textile industry, brown lung disease, but there's no such thing as white lung disease. It just didn't happen. It's a natural ingredient in the ground, and it's just worked out as a construction, as a medicine, as a food source. Every time you buy a loaf of bread, you get something with marble in it.
The quarry tours continue today.
Yes, today will be the 130 tour to Sylacauga Marble, and the tour yesterday was full, and I'm hoping that the one today will be full, because they have made great strides. The Jake Swindle and his crew that's running the quarry, you know, they took it over last year, and they have redone that quarry. They've reconfigured it in every way. They brought in geologists. They've done more drilling, and they found out and discovered that they have more marble than they thought they bought. So it's just a wonderful situation down there to see the way that they modernized the old Alabama Marble Quarry. And of course the name now is Sylacauga Marble
I like
Quarry.
that.
I like it very much. It's great. And they have been really wonderful to help us with our sculpting marble. And we hadn't missed a lick, other than they're seeing to it that we get a better grade of marble.
Now the sculptors will be busy today.
Yes, they'll be busy today, and it's really good to see their enthusiasm and to see what the artistic mind can see A lot of them bring written plans, maybe on a piece of paper or notebook paper. Some of them bring intricate drawings, but most of them bring it in their head.
Amazing.
And they start with this, and they reach a certain state that you wipe away the thing, and then the stone starts talking to them. I've listened very carefully, and I haven't heard anything, but they hear what the stone is saying to them, and then they turn it into beautiful pieces. And we've got some of their stones and some of their sculpture in the Hightower room and down at the library is for sale. And I invite the public to come to the library anytime today, on Saturday, or all next week, and just look at the kind of generation that we've had with the marble. And that has evolved over the last 3 years, and we're just thrilled that we've started that, because that gives them an opportunity to show their latest works, and to people to see something they might want to buy, and then go down to the sculpting site across from Bluebell and talk to the artist. That you don't get that in many places, but we're just thrilled with the way that has gone, and very happy with the quarries and their support of Sylacauga Marble Festival.
Dr. Ted Spears, our guest this morning. The 8th Annual Marble Festival continues through next week, and we've got a number of Alabama folks that are involved in this artistic type work.
Yes, we do have, and it's growing. We're growing some of them homegrown and some of them in outlying areas, and there's people who were good carvers in, say, wood, or they did ceramics, or they did some other type things, and they have made the transition into marble, and they've got them new tools, and now they're off on a new venture. And especially the people who did woodwork, they make the easiest transition, because wood is, you got to be extremely talented, and it's very difficult to work with. And the same thing in marble. It's just a different venue, and when they get into that, they find, hey, this transfers from the things I've been doing the last 20 years, and they never thought of it before.
We've evolved a number of ways since the start 8 years ago. The taste of Sylacauga, that's really been a plus.
It has, and last night was no exception. And they even had it better lined up. They lined it up so instead we were running all over each other, everybody was going in one direction. And the crowd was really happy and thrilled, and we were just, oh yeah, there it is on the screen. It just worked out beautifully. The B.B. Comer Jazz Band was there. Just a festive mood, good food, and the vendors, we doubled the number of vendors over last year. And they were thrilled to participate. I know I did some calls myself to talk to people, and I picked up 2 or 3 people who said it was a great experience for them, and so we'll be back next year.
I guess you can tell by looking at me, I've been preparing for the NEMAC 5K run.
I noticed the new hairdo, and so I hope that does not catch on in the community, because it's one of those.
That's a big event too, you know.
It is, and we're handling that with the NEMAC. Megan Henley is our contact out there now. She's the new human resource person. And she's working with Jim Armstrong to get it squared away, and we've got our T-shirts all lined up, and we're just delighted with that. And if anybody thinks that they can run and not have a heart attack, we certainly encourage them to come on down and register. You can register online. Just go on the library's website, hit Marble Festival, and it'll take you right to our website. And or you can go down to the Rec Center and talk to Jim Armstrong and get it, or call Megan at NEMAC, and they'll get you in there. So we hope to have a real good run this year. More people participating. It's grown each year that we've had it, and we're just delighted. And if you just want to get in the 1 mile run or a fun walk, we encourage you to do that.
I appreciate you bringing that walk. Jam-packed events coming up next week. We got the mayor's reception over at the Chamber of Commerce, and then I want to touch base too quickly on the observation point here in Sylacauga.
Well, the observation point has been really a wonderful addition to us. I know you and I and the people that live in this area have seen quarries before, but the people outside have never seen the quarry. And the observation point overlooks the original quarry. That's a place where Moretti took the stone that he used to carve the head of Christ that's in the Archives and History building. And it's just fascinating for people who have never seen it to see the beautiful turquoise colored water and see all the different examples of blocks, the blocks that are sawed, the blocks that are blasted, and see the workings going on in the background. And a couple of Sundays ago, well, 3 or 4 Sundays ago, I went by there to check on the gate, and I had 6 vans of students from Florida State University, and they were all out there, and the professor was giving a lecture on marble and what have you. And so,
now that's a statement right there.
Yeah, it is. And so I was just thrilled beyond words, and I interrupted the professor and gave them all a brochure and talked to them, but they said, we didn't know about this. And now they got it on their regular tour to come to Alabama when they're in Alabama. And so it was a class of people, and the same thing's true of Auburn University. The same thing's true of the University of Alabama, Huntsville. Incidentally, we got a sculptor from Huntsville University of Alabama, and he showed up yesterday, and another one came in last night. So we got 2 of the faculty members coming. We did that thing with Doug Phillips on Discovering Alabama, and that put us in the forefront. And then we, the TV coverage that we get through out Alabama on this station really helps us. I have people who mention it a great deal about Channel 47 and seeing what's going on in Sylacauga. Some people look forward to it.
We're talking with Dr. Ted Spears. The Marble Festival in its 8th year in Sylacauga continues through next week, and it takes a cooperative effort of a team, including our mayor, our city council, our chamber, and many others to make something like this really work.
Absolutely. Our mayor and city council has just been wonderful. They sense, or they have the knowledge that this is something that is really worthwhile, something that is exciting. It's something that draws people to Sylacauga and sets Sylacauga apart from other towns in this state with what they're doing. And they've been, without them, we couldn't have had a Marble Festival. And that especially goes for Reed Calfrey, the new head of the street department. He and his men have been over backwards to make sure that all of our needs, material-wise, have been provided. And thank Mayor Murphy for letting them help us that much. And then I had 2 or 3 of the council people to stop me last night and tell me how much they appreciated the work that we were doing. But they just need to stop and thank themselves too, because we couldn't do anything without them.
Now there are other marble quarries in other states and that kind of thing, but you've talked and you've had people come in from other states to look at what we're doing, and for whatever reason they can't do it like we do it here.
No, that was a pleasant surprise to me. I had the people from Jasper, Georgia, to come in 3 years ago, and they said they'd heard so much about it that they'd had the Marble Festival for 20 years, but it had been declining, and they wanted to talk to me, and they signed up for the trips to the quarries. And after we got to talking, I said, well, y'all gonna be late for your trip. They said, we've been in quarries. We want to talk to you. We want to find out what you're doing. I explained to them about the wonderful input that we had from our Marble Festival Committee. We got a 12-member committee from all walks of life in the community, and they didn't do that, and they had all sorts of questions, and so they stayed with us at the library, and Shirley showed them around of all the marble pieces. One of our goals was to have a significant piece of sculpture from each festival, and we've been able to do that and more. And they were just blown away. They weren't doing anything like that, and they were trying to sell the marble. And in our case, the Arts Council worked out a deal with Sylacauga Marble Quarry to sell us at a good deal, and we give them the marble. And then Jim Heigl and the American Legion allow the guys who want to. We got cots up there. You can bring a quilt or a sleeping bag or an air mattress and stay there and not have to pay $125, $150 a night motel bill. So I talked to one guy last year who said, this has been wonderful for me because, I work for a living, I've got a wife and children, but I can come over here and stay a week and y'all feed me. We go all over town getting vouchers to help feed them. He said, you got a place to sleep? That saves me a tremendous amount of money that I can follow my true passion, which is sculpting. And it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg to get it done.
And finally, this morning, we, from the smaller children to the oldest guy like me, we want to make sure that everybody's plugged into this.
Well, I would say that we do a better job than that than anybody else. The other people that I talk to from other communities where they have quarries or where they have marble festivals don't do that. But we've got a wonderful relationship going on with the schools, and the Marble Maniacs are doing, and we're getting schools from out of the district. Like Tuesday, we've got the West End Christian School from Montgomery bringing 25 students from the 4th grade. And what we found is when they bring 25 students, they also bring 25 mothers or grandmothers with them, and grandfathers. And they're just thrilled to death to have on-hand experience, to be able to get a piece of marble or pick up marble out at the quarry, to come down to the library and get a tour there and show them what all we have in the way of art, and then let them go across the street and look at the sculpting going on, and then go right on across the next street in Bluebell and eat some of the finest ice cream in the world. So what could be better than that?
There you go. Dr. Ted Spears, our guest this morning. The 8th Annual Marble Festival continues through the 16th of April, and we want to urge you to be a part of the quarry tours, be a part of the sculpting, and see the artist at work. And if you need more information, contact the library, the Chamber of Commerce, and enjoy this next week and this weekend. Dr. Spears, always a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate your help.
And I'll try to get my hair prepared for the NEMAC 5K.
I hope so, because we want to make this a real nice event for our family.
We've got more coming up on Daybreak right after this.